Bonjour! My name is Amanda. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a 9th year French Immersion teacher, and this upcoming year I'll be teaching grade 1-2 French Immersion. Today, I was going to walk you through how I set up my storytelling tubs. So it's going to be a little less this, a little more that. Alright, so normally I wouldn't have this large window behind me because lighting, but this is where I'm going to be working. What you can't see quite yet is that I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 tubs like this, and I've already gone ahead and put some supplies that I had been collecting in these tubs, and I put them in a little while ago, so I didn't think it made sense for me to pull the stuff out and put it back in just for a video. So I'll walk you through some of what I already have in here and then what I'm going to be adding in. But I'll start with the one that I have right here, and the theme of this bin is like in the garden or dans le jardin. I've made some vocab cards that I plan to use in here, and I'll show those another time. But I have a lot of these like wood rounds that I've put in the garden tub. When was it? I believe it was in February or March when I was going out and collecting materials for our school's storytelling tubs that I found these, and I picked them up for myself as well from, I believe it was Dollar Tree, one of the dollar stores. Anyways, and they're little like garden pieces that are meant for like fairy gardens, and so they came with like those benches, little bird houses, things like that. I also have these cute little jars that I want to hot glue the corks on so that the corks don't like fall out when kids are playing with it. And then I had found like a bunch of toys from when I was little, and so I spent some time taking those toys and organizing them into the bins that I have. And I had little toys from A Bug's Life, if you remember that movie, and I had little figurines from that, so I thought, you know what, these are perfect for my in the garden theme. And then there are like little fairies, gnomes, and then for building purposes, some little mini popsicle sticks, and then even smaller ones, like look at these. Okay, so that's the garden for now, and I'll show you what's in some of the other ones. Alright, so these are the tubs that I have, and I have a list here, and you can pause if you want to copy them down yourself, but these are the themes of the tubs that I've been creating. So I'll walk you through some of them. So this is what I have for farm animals. I have some wood slices, some plastic animals, these little fuzzy poussins, chicks that come out around Easter time, little pigs from the game Pigs. So things like that for farms so far. This is my Arctic bin. So I have these glass beads, which I love for these storytelling tubs and loose parts in general. They're amazing. I've already got some felt squares, so these will be like storytelling mats for the kids. So I have, what, 4 or 5 squares there, so that many kids can, or that many students can be at the center in normal conditions, and that's their little mat to build on. And some igloos and Arctic animals. This set is the woodland set, and so some wood animals. That's it for now. This is rainforest, so again, animals, the gems, the felt. This is the garden one I was showing you, so obviously I went to town with the fairy garden pieces. So lots of fairy garden pieces, the little bottles with papers in them, popsicle sticks, wood. This is my ocean set. So I think there's a tub of ocean animals that I grabbed from like Toys R Us or Walmart or something, and they were perfect for this. Some shells, again those beads, some felt. Purple felt means the magical, mystical theme with some unicorns from the dollar store. There you go. This is dinosaurs, and again there's like a dinosaur tub from, I believe it was Toys R Us, when Toys R Us was supposed to be closing down and everything was on sale and they never closed down. Amazing, score. So we've got some dinosaur pieces in there. This is our Savannah theme. Felt, animals, gems. This one I'm still obviously working on because really it's just blocks, popsicle sticks, and this is going to be community. So this will be more like the building construction city themed, where I'd actually put people as characters. And then this is pets, and most of these toys are things that I had when I was little, and a lot of them came from Kinder Surprise toys, which is amazing. Some of the other things like the dogs and the rabbits came from the dollar store, Dollarama. Popsicle sticks, some felt, and then I've got my bag of stuff that I'll be adding to the bins, and I also have a bin of materials that I'll be setting out today. So looking at what I have in total, I think the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have the felt pieces that I want in each tub. So I have some extra colors here. I had also bought some larger sheets like the purple one that I plan on cutting into quarters. So I think I'll start with that and then distribute some rocks and gems to make sure that all of the bins have some of these like glass beads. So that's where I'm going to get started. Okay, so I'm taking this gray felt, and instead of cutting squares out of it, because like who's got the time for that, I'm just folding it in half, and then I am going to cut them both at the same time, because done is better than perfect. So I know you can't see me cutting away here, but there we go. So now I have 4 pieces, and these I'm going to put in the community bin. And I think I might swap out the red in the pets for the gray. So I think I'm gonna go do that. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is grab some green felt, fold, cut, and that's gonna go into farm, woodlands, and garden, and then that means all my bins are going to have felt. So my original plan was not to cut this felt because I wanted kids to have like a bigger surface for their play space or their storytelling space, but I had picked up a pack of felt squares, and there were a lot of squares for not a lot of money, and I just thought that was so much easier than me like cutting up and finding all the colors I wanted and all that, and it was cheaper. So I picked up the squares, filled in what I could, and then picked up these larger pieces to fill in the spaces that were missing. And I, like normally I would have just put like the big one in, but I had the square ones to start with, so that's why I'm cutting these up now. They'll be fine. Like, are they going to stick to the mat itself? Probably not. Like, they'll probably spread out and play a little bit more, but it's all good. No worries. Okay, here's something not to buy. I had picked up these squares of turf or grass tile from Dollarama with the intention of cutting these in half in order to use in some of the bins, because like grass texture and like for sensory it's great. However, it sheds. So I've been finding like these little green these little green pieces everywhere, so I imagine like cutting it up is not gonna go well. So these are not going into the classroom. I have 4 of them. So instead, I'm just gonna use them for backdrops for photos for Instagram. So you win some, you lose some. Next up is the rocks. So I've pulled out or pushed back all of the felt so that now I can have a better view of where rocks are needed. So that's my next step. these bins are looking a lot more full. I didn't add as many green in here for the farm animals because I am thinking I might want to add some red so they can act as like berries or flowers and things like that. I added these beautiful crystals, some of these river rocks, some of these diamonds in here with the Arctic animals, and I'm loving this so far. There's also some of these clear glass beads. In our woodland friends, I added some rocks and green beads. In our rainforest, I also added these glow-in-the-dark beads. Just because I wanted to put them somewhere, and I thought that having two different types of green in here would be a bit fun. Also added some rocks. In here, because it was already pretty full, I added like a couple of those diamonds, some of those rocks, some of these rocks. Didn't want to put too many rocks in here because there's a lot of other toys. In here we have river rocks, diamonds, you see some of those glow-in-the-dark beads, and underneath there are some other beads as well. In the magical one is where I first wanted to put those glow-in-the-dark rocks, a lot of the crystals and the diamonds. Again, the glow-in-the-dark and green and rocks. Just some regular old rocks in here. And then I didn't want to add any rocks into the pet store because there were so many animals already. So now I'm going to go through the rest of what I have and consider where I want to put it. So this bin here, I never really talked you through. So this is where I was keeping through some of my extra stuff. So I have these crystal gems, which I was thinking of putting in the Arctic bin. Some flowers that have these wires on the back that I was going to put in the garden. Then I have these blank shapes. I say blank because it's just plain wooden shapes that I was going to distribute. I just wasn't sure where. Then I have some extra animals. So these ones are like family sets. So you can see like all the pandas and like they're all sets of animals. So I'm not sure if I want to make like a bin of its own with those. Here I just had some that didn't really fit anywhere, like an elephant drinking. Probably not the most appropriate, and then like some Pokemon figurines, so these I think I'm just gonna keep to the side. And then I wanted to have a reptile bin, but I didn't have any reptile toys other than this little friend, so this one I might add into the rainforest for now. And if I get a reptile bin, then maybe I'll move. We'll see. So that's what I had there. I do have some leftover beads because I know it's gonna sound awful to say, but I have some extra leftover beads because this past year my students loved these beads so much that they would just like sneak them and put them in their backpacks and take them. So I like having some backups, and if not, they'll just go in my loose parts section anyways. So these ones I got if I needed to fill them up, but if not, I know I can just throw them in my loose parts area and that'll be fine. The other thing that I picked up were these pom-poms. Normally I would just put them in so like they could act as, like I said for the farm one, like little berries or flowers or like snowballs or whatever like the students decide to use them as. However, pom-poms are not easy to wash, so I don't think I'm gonna put them in this year. And pretty much everything I have in the bins is easy for me to wash in the bin itself, which is a goal. However, my problem comes with the wood pieces and like the little fluffy chicks. So I'm gonna leave them in for now because I have a workaround for it. I'll talk to you in a second about that. So I know there's likely questions, and there's questions for myself as well as to how is this going to work this upcoming year. And first off, like we found out yesterday that we are going back 100% in person. So like I'm going to have a full class with me. And because we're going to be like our own little bubble, or whatever you want to call it, that means, or at least from what I understand, that means that like if you're in this bubble, physical distancing isn't as important as much as no physical contact is. So similar to what we experienced when we went back in June, except in June we were at 50% capacity, and for September we're going to be 100%. So I'm going to have 22 students sitting at 4 tables and make sure that they don't touch each other. But that's besides the point. So because we're going to be back in person, I know I do want to use these storytelling tubs as like a morning bin as well as a tool for literacy, and I'll probably make another video for how I'll use it for literacy. But what I was thinking to sort of work around this, like no sharing the bins, because like I said, normally I would have like 4 to 6 kids at a bin and they would just share the materials that were in it, which means all the hands are touching it and the germs are being spread, and welcome to elementary. But because it needs to be more individualized, initially I was going to make little like mini bins for students using like those photo boxes from Michael's, which I already have and don't have anything in them because that was like another useless purchase of mine. But I was like, you know what, that's probably not enough space like for the mat and all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna give them Ziploc bags. Like, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. A Ziploc bag, materials in it, good to go. So in my Dollarama haul, I showed that I picked up a bunch of these wooden circles and wooden rectangles. So my intention with those is to have students decorate them to be their own little play mat. And I'm thinking they can decorate both sides of it, and then that's something that can fit inside their Ziploc bag, and they'll have a little bit of toys or items that will go in the bag with them. So because I can divide like that, then I can put things like these wood rounds, or the little chicks, or even the felt squares. Then I can allow students to use it because it would be their own individual kit, and I have enough supplies here. Like I said, I have 11 bins with 4 to 6 kids at each. That's a lot of options for me to have kids rotate out and have like their used bin sit in like a quarantine for 14 days before they can use it again, because that was our thing before. Like if we couldn't clean it, then it had to be quarantined for like 14 days, and who knows if those rules will change. But so the plan is I'm going to set these up as normal bins right now, like normal, and then when it's closer to school starting, I'll see like what our specific rules are for making the individual kits. So I think I am just going to use Ziploc bags, divide out these so that I have, I'm just going to say 4 per kit. So I'll take this, divide it into 4 bags, and that's it. So I'm going to set up as normal with like my felts and pom-poms and all that stuff. Easy to wash as well, or most of the bins are. Like the Arctic one doesn't have any wood pieces in it, so like love that for me. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bins that have wood pieces in it, or the little felt chicks. So those ones will be the ones that need to sit aside, or I'll just remove those pieces and go with that. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the video here because like I think I've made some pretty good progress with the bins. I don't have anything else right now that I want to put in them. What I am going to do though is I'm going to pull out the animals from each just so I can see what animals I have, because I have made some vocab cards that I want to use in here for literacy, and I just want to make sure that the vocab cards I have match the animals that are in the bins. So if I have an orca, I want to make sure that I have a polar as a vocab card. And that's it. So I'm gonna do that, and we'll see you next time. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this inspired you if you are back in person. Something you could do that works as morning work, literacy, math, because I'm a math person, so I'm going to be using this for math as well. And that's all. So thanks again for watching, and à la prochaine. Goodbye.